growing up, I've always been around a lot of old timers who spent most of their life out here in the bay. So what we looked at coming out here, there's still people working, but I think it's safe to say years ago there's a lot more people relying on this for a way of life. But so I grew up with a lot of my family from that era. So I'd hear stories, look through the photo albums and stuff. And I started clamming when I was 14. My uncle would take me out. He was a commercial clam digger. So we'd go out, and there's usually on weekends during the winter time. So I wasn't really in the water. We actually used a little hand rake, and you sit there hunched over, and your back's hurting you, but you're digging away, and you're throwing them in the pail. And I was like, man, this is crazy, doing this for work, right?
What sort of clams?
Hard clams, Yeah, we were hacking the steamers. If you guys have had steamers, that's a different type of clam than the hard clam. Yeah, we call them fish clams. Sometimes when you walk up on the flats, you see water squirt out of the mud, and it's actually a clam when they suck down deeper into the mud. But
you have to dig fast as they go down.
Yeah, you do have to dig real fast. But I actually, when I was 16, I started a job at the end of the Woodcliff Canal at E.V. Elliott's. Down there, it's a restaurant, and let's just say I didn't get paid too good. So I was like, a week into it, I called him up and I said, hey, can I clam with you? And he said, yeah, if you want to. So I went over there. He gave me a wetsuit. It was the summertime, and well, this is actually the guy clamming right there. It looks like two guys. See him up there on the bar. He's up there digging with his pack. But yeah, so I started clamming, and just like Joey said, once you get the money going, all you're dreaming about is going out the next day to get some more clams. And if you're out here during the winter time and you came upon some hunters, a lot of them wouldn't be using cork decoys. That's what the traditional way of hunting would be over a hand-carved cork decoy with a wood head. Nowadays, people use plastic decoys, which they're really not that effective. I mean, they don't ride right in the water. A wave comes and they bounce around a little bit, and sometimes you have a little coming in ducks real low, and you go to shoot them, and you hit a decoy, it sinks right to the bottom. I mean, so cork it held up a lot better, and the traditional way they actually used refrigerator cork or old life preservers back in the 40s. They were made out of cork. So you'd get your old life preservers, cut them open, take out the cork and glue it together, slap the head on there, paint it whatever color it needs to be, and let it float out there. But Long Island has a really long history of decoy carving, and especially in this area. So, and all different families out here, they have their own styles of decoys. You can tell who carved one. I mean, one time I was hunting over in Scout Creek, we passed it a little bit before, and the Bay constables, they come around and make sure everything's being legal. So they came up on us, they wanted to check us out, and he looks over and he sees cork decoys. And it changed from business right there to, man, those are some nice decoys. How long you been carving? And sure as hell he let us go. We didn't do nothing wrong anyway, but at that point he's like, all right guys, have a good day. He took off. So cork decoys, it's definitely a long tradition that's been around for a while. You don't get to see it a lot, but they also, old ones are worth money, surprisingly. People are out there, they collect them. It's just a real historical thing, yeah.
Where do you get your cork from now?
Now, actually...
Isn't it expensive?
The cork is expensive, and you really do have to hunt to find a good dealer for cork. But this decoy collector shows and stuff like that, so you can network a little bit and find some cork.
And can you tell us what the most challenging part of carving a decoy has been for you?
Probably.
Well, the most challenging part, I remember being 11 years old in the basement, and my dad was fixing up a couple decoys, and I'd always go and grab a couple, so he gave me a rasp. And the bodies aren't that hard. You can think, well, a bird sitting on the water, it's just a little oval shape. When you go to put that head on there, you really got to look at the detail of a bird. I mean, every bird's different, and if you want to have some shelf life to it, that's what they call it when it looks good in your hand. Because birds, you can fool them it doesn't take much to fool them. But if you want something that really has some life to it, the focus, everyone's going to look at the head of the bird. So having the way the bill comes into that head, and I have a couple decoys in the back when there's a break. You guys feel free to look at them. There's old ones that were antiques actually that we still hunt over, and then I have one that I carved. That's the only one I have right now because actually after Hurricane Sandy I lost all the tools in the storm, so I'm starting to rebuild a little bit. But you feel free to check those out.
Thank you very much, Lucas. Okay, Colin.